Welcome to the lecture series on sensors and transducers. I am Professor Kiran Kumar N. Hittanigi, working as Assistant Professor in E&E Department, KLS VDIT, Adyar. So today we'll discuss Module 5, Lecture number 36. So in the previous lecture, we have discussed flow measuring instruments such as ultrasonic flow meters and thermal flow meters. So basically these two transducers are used for measurement of flow rate of fluid or a gas flowing in the closed conduit. So in the today's lecture, we'll be studying about wire anemometer and laser Doppler anemometer, okay, which are used again to measure the flow rate of liquid or a gas. Okay. The outcome of this lecture will be, at the end of this lecture, students will have better understanding of wire anemometers and laser Doppler anemometers. So the topics that we are discussing today will be coming under understanding level of Bloom's taxonomy, as we are dealing with the explanation of these two flow measuring transducers. So it comes under understanding level of Bloom's taxonomy. So let us begin with the first type of transducer, that is wire anemometer. Okay. So here the meaning of word anemometer is, it is a anemometer is an instrument which is used to find out the velocity of air or a fluid or any gas. Okay, so those instruments are called as anemometers. Okay, so we will begin with the wire anemometer transducer. Okay, so these devices are hot wire resistance transducers. So these wire anemometers are also called as hot wire resistance transducers, because here the sensing element is in the form of wire or a filament. Okay, so the sensing element will be in the form of wire or filament, and it is maintained at some temperature T. So hence it is called as hot wire. Okay, sensing element is called as hot wire, and uh, as the fluid or gas flows through this sensing element, its temperature is going to reduce. Okay, so as a result, what happens when the temperature of the sensing element varies, it is going to vary the temperature resistance of the sensing element, correct? So we know the relation between temperature of the conducting material and the resistance of it. So for conducting materials, temperature of the material, temperature of a conducting material will be directly proportional to its resistance. So as temperature decreases proportional to the flow of the fluid, so the resistance will also decrease. So the resistance word has come here. Okay, so that is why it is called as hot wire resistance transducer. Okay, so these are used for measurement of velocity of fluid or flow rate of fluid. Okay, so actually we are interested to measure the flow rate of the fluid. Even if we get the velocity of the uh, fluid also, with the help of that velocity value I can calculate the volume flow rate of the fluid. Okay, right. So this sensing element, okay, so I told you it is also called as a filament. So this sensing element is located, okay, so how it is located or placed. Okay, so by suitably locating this transducer or the wire filament, the flow rates of non-conducting liquids in open channel, okay, the channel channel carrying this liquid can be open also, or it can be closed pipe or a conduit. Okay, so if it is a gas, so the conduit has to be closed one, correct? So in such environment we can place this wire anemometer and we can measure the velocity or flow rate of the fluid or a gas. The transducer, which is in the form of probe. Okay, so our sensing element will be in the form of filament. Okay, or you can also say it is in the form of a probe. Okay, so the sensing element is in the form of a probe and is located at the center of the pipe with the direction of wire perpendicular to the direction of the fluid flow. Okay, so for example this, so here you can see the gas is flowing in this direction from left to right in this pipe, and here we have placed the probe. Okay, so our sensing element is placed like in this manner. Okay, the flow sensing element is a short length. Okay, the element will have a very short length, and so its diameter will be in the order of micrometers, few micrometers. So one example is 5 micrometer diameter. So its length will be short, okay, and its diameter will be in terms of few millimeters. Okay, so here one example is given, uh, that is a platinum tungsten wire anemometer. Okay, so it has the diameter 5 micrometer. Okay, and it is heated electrically as a part of Wheatstone bridge. So here we are making use of Wheatstone bridge also. Okay, we will understand why Wheatstone bridge is used. Okay, so we already know, and in the previous uh, discussions in various transducers, we have seen this Wheatstone bridge used. Okay, so generally Wheatstone bridge is used to measure the change in the resistance, correct? So whenever we want to measure the change in the resistance, when the physical quantity is changed, so we are going to make use of Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so whenever physical quantity varies, so Wheatstone bridge is going to get unbalanced. Correct? Okay. So this figure shows the probe. Okay. So this figure shows the construction of the diagram of the probe. Okay. So this is the, so this part is the conducting wires, so which are dipped in the, so which will be placed in the conduit or a pipe. Correct. So the other end will be connected to leads. So through leads, so these conducting wires are connected to the Wheatstone bridge network. Okay. So now we'll come to the second figure. So here we can see a Wheatstone bridge. Okay. So one resistor. So this sensing element acts as one resistor of a Wheatstone bridge. Correct. So here it is acting as a resistor R4 of the Wheatstone bridge. Correct. So whenever I want to measure the resistance of a sensing element, I am going to connect it as one of the resistors of a Wheatstone bridge. Correct. So here we can see, so this is the pipe in which gas will be flowing. Okay, so I need to calculate, I need to find out the velocity or the flow rate of the gas, okay, flowing in this pipe. Correct. So now we'll study the working of this wire anemometer. Okay, so initially this sensing element will be placed in the air. Okay, initially we are going to place the sensing element. We are going to take this out of the pipe and we are going to place it in the air, and we are going to apply the voltage to the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, so after applying some voltage, so slowly rheostat is varied and current is increased. Okay, so current value is increased until the galvanometer reads zero current. So until the reading in the galvanometer becomes zero. Okay, so until that point the rheostat is varied and current is increased. Okay, so when we are increasing the current in the Wheatstone bridge circuit, so current flowing to the sensing element will also keep on increasing, and the sensing element is getting heated up. Okay, so at one point of time what happens, galvanometer reads zero. So galvanometer when it reads zero, so we call it a balanced condition of a Wheatstone bridge. Correct. So now the bridge is in the balanced condition. So now the bridge is in balanced condition. So when the bridge is in balanced condition, so the sensing material, the temperature of the sensing material is noted. Okay, so that is T. So when the bridge is in balanced condition, sensing material, the sensing element is at temperature T. Okay, so now we are going to place this sensing element in the pipe. Okay, so in the pipe, and now you see now this gas is flowing, correct? So gas is flowing with some velocity v. Okay, so when the gas flows through the sensing element, what happens? So that flow of the gas is going to cool down the sensing element, correct? So when sensing element cools down, the temperature goes on reducing, correct? So this temperature of the sensing element will be proportional to velocity of the flow of gas. Okay, so the temperature of the sensing element will be proportional to velocity of the gas flowing. So proportional to the velocity of gas, the temperature gets reduced. Okay, so actually both are inversely proportional, correct? I should write it as inversely proportional. So let me write. So the velocity of gas flowing is v. So if the velocity is v, okay, so then temperature of the sensing element will vary inversely proportional with the velocity of the gas. So temperature decreases. Okay, so now sensing element has cooled down. As a result, temperature has reduced. So when temperature reduces, so its resistance will also reduce. Okay, so when the resistance R4 varies, the Wheatstone bridge gets unbalanced. So when Wheatstone bridge gets unbalanced, the galvanometer reading will not be zero, it will have some finite value. So the value of or the reading of the galvanometer will be proportional to the change in the resistance. Okay, thereby it is proportional to change in the temperature, and thereby it is proportional to change in the velocity of the flow of gas, velocity of the flow of gas. So that's uh, so we can conclude that the reading of the galvanometer, the current reading, will take it as I naught. So output current reading given by the galvanometer will be proportional to the will be proportional to the velocity of the gas flowing in the pipe. Okay, so we can calculate the velocity of the gas with the value of with the reading given by the galvanometer, or in other way, in another method, we can directly calibrate the galvanometer to read the velocity of the gas directly, correct? So by that way we can measure the velocity or the flow rate of the gas or a fluid. Okay. The same working is explained briefly in the following points. Okay. when the probe is introduced in the flowing fluid or the gas, it tends to be cooled by the instantaneous velocity, and consequently there is a tendency of electrical resistance to decrease. Okay, simple. So when probe is introduced in the flowing gas, so it is going to get cooled, okay, proportional to velocity of the gas. Okay, so as the probe is getting cooled, its resistance is also going to decrease. Okay, so the rate of cooling of wire basically depends on following factors. Okay, so one factor is dimensions and physical properties of the wire. Okay, rate of cooling down of wire depends on dimensions and physical properties of the wire. So it may also depend on difference of temperature between the wire and the fluid. And third one, it may depend on the physical properties of the fluid, correct? Physical properties of the fluid also matters to the rate of cooling of wire, correct? So physical properties of the fluid also matters, temperature of the fluid also matters, physical properties of the probe also matters, correct? But there is one more factor which is of our interest, that is stream velocity under measurement, means velocity of the fluid or the gas under measurement. Okay, so rate of cooling will also depend on velocity of the gas flowing, correct? So now for a simple hot wire anemometer, the first three conditions are effectively constant. So these first three factors are negligible, or you can say they are negligible, or you can consider them constant. Right? So they are effectively constant or negligible. So that's why we can say the rate of cooling of wire depends on the velocity. It mainly depends on the velocity of the gas flowing. Okay, so that's why using this method we can calculate the velocity or the flow rate of the gas or a fluid. Next type of transducer is laser Doppler anemometer. Okay, so here the word laser is there. So here laser is acting as a source of light. Okay, hence the word laser has come. Okay, so laser is used here as a source of light. Okay, and this anemometer works on the principle of Doppler shift. Okay, so it is also called as change in the frequency of the scattered light is called as Doppler shift. Okay, so it works on the principle of Doppler shift. So that's why it is the word Doppler has come here. So that is why it is called as laser Doppler anemometer. Okay, so this type of anemometer measures the instantaneous velocities of gases or liquids flowing in a transparent channel. Okay, so here the pipe or the conduit needs to be transparent one. Okay, so as this transducer uses light, okay, so the light should fall on the liquid or the gas flowing. Okay, so that's why the conduit or the pipe needs to be transparent one. Okay, so we'll see what is the working principle. The working principle of this device is based on the Doppler shift, that is change in frequency of the light. Okay, so it is nothing but change in frequency of the light scattered by an object moving relative to the radiating source. Okay, so here the source of light. So here two parts are there. One is source of light. So here we are using laser as the source of light. Okay, and the object moving. So which is the moving object here? So here the object moving is nothing but particles. Okay, nothing but particles present in the fluid or the gas. Okay, so particles present in the fluid or gas. Okay, so light is going to get scattered when, so basically light will be allowed to fall on the fluid. Okay, so as the particles will be flowing with some velocity, so because of that flowing particles, so light is going to get scattered. The light falling on them is going to get scattered in direct proportional with their velocity. Okay, the frequency, so basically light is going to get scattered. So as the result of scattering of light, its frequency is going to change. So the change in frequency will be directly proportional to the velocity of the fluid or a gas flowing. Okay, so this is the principle of operation. Okay, so if we measure the change in the frequency, it will give us the value of velocity of the gas or the fluid flowing. Okay, so this figure shows the schematic diagram of flow measurement process in laser Doppler anemometer. Okay, so in this diagram we can see this is the transparent channel in which fluid is flowing with some velocity v, and I want to measure this velocity. Okay, so the liquid is flowing in this pipe. Okay, so these are the particles present in the liquid. Okay, so particles are present in the fluid and they are moving with velocity v. Okay, so this is the light source. So here laser, I told you laser will be used as a light source. So from the laser light will fall on the beam splitter. So light is splitted into two parts here, and the splitted light will fall on the lens, and later it is going to get concentrated on one point. Okay, So this point is called as focal point. Okay, so light is allowed to fall at one point. Okay, so here the particles will be flowing. Okay, so due to the flowing particles, light is going to get scattered. Okay, from the other end, if you detect the light or if you sense the light, okay, reflected by the particles, okay, so the light is getting scattered. Light is getting scattered due to the flow of the particle. So the scattered light will be sensed by the light detector. Okay, so its frequency is calculated. Okay, frequency of the scattered light is calculated, and later it will be subtracted with the frequency of the light which is supplied by uh, given by the or supplied by the light source. Okay, later we'll get the frequency difference. Okay, so we'll get the frequency difference. So this frequency difference will be proportional to the velocity of the fluid or the liquid flowing. Okay, so here we'll understand, okay, the working of this laser Doppler anemometer. Okay, basically the technique consists of focusing laser beams at the point in the fluid where the velocity is to be measured. Okay, here we are making use of laser beams, and we are using laser beams. We are going to focus the light at one point. Okay, so it is called as what? That point is called as focal point. At this focal point, a photo detector senses, a photo detector or a light detector senses the laser light scattered, laser light scattered from the fluid, from the fluid particles. So why the light is getting scattered? Because the fluid particles are moving with some velocity. Okay, so that is why light is getting scattered. Okay, signal processing of this photo detector output gives us what? It gives us magnitude of frequency difference. Okay, it gives us what is the change in the frequency or what is the difference in the frequency. So this frequency difference itself is called as Doppler shift. Okay, so this frequency difference will be directly proportional to the instantaneous velocity of the flow. Okay, so in this way we are going to calculate or measure the instantaneous velocity of the fluid or the gas. Okay, so till now we discussed two type of anemometers or the instruments used for measurement of flow or the velocity of liquid or the gas. So one was the wire anemometer, okay, uh, which works on the variable resistance principle, and another anemometer was a laser Doppler anemometer, which works on the principle of Doppler shift. Okay, the possible question on this topic will be explain the working of wire anemometer and laser Doppler anemometer with their suitable diagrams. Okay, so this is the reference. Thank you.